where the wrestling truth resides.
So getting into our news, one of our news things, before we get into that, we're talking about Hulk Hogan. I will start with Hulk Hogan.
Brother.
On the podcast, the 6 Feet Under podcast, it's Undertaker, Mark Calloway. Is that his name? Mark Calloway?
Yeah, Mark Calloway. Just call him Taker.
Taker.
We're good friends with him. We'll call him Taker.
I know, it's the same thing when it was like Paul Levesque. You mean
good friend of the show.
Triple H?
Yeah, Paul Levesque. You mean good friend of the show, Triple H?
Yeah. He's like, I always like, I don't know, maybe the old school, like when people talk to him in the fucking interviews, whatever, they call him a Hunter or Paul or
for
H.
Anyone who doesn't know this, like, of course, Tyler Adams and Dylan Nix aren't our real names, of course.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, I know your real name, dude. Anyway, so what's really funny is, kinda in the locker rooms when you've made it, when people stop calling you your real name. Right. When they only call you your work name, you're kind of like, okay, I'm there. Yeah, when people are screaming across the room, "Cat, get over here!" And you're like, "Jesus Christ, what?" Or I hear across the room, "Dylan, what?" But then there's guys like Larry who will flip flop back and forth, doesn't know what to call you half the time, and
Tyler.
He calls you Tyler. Yeah, he calls you Tyler.
Too many guys that are my name. And he goes,
he hit me up the other day about a booking, and I was like, "No, I'm booked." And he's like, "Oh, are you cheating with Tyler?" And I was like, "No, I'm just my brain went. You know his real name, right?"
Jason Danger, which is a huge TikToker, was on the podcast with Undertaker.
Wait. Is that Justin Nutley? Is that who you're talking about?
No, his name's Justin Danger.
No, it's Justin Danger Nutley. The Danger things is his middle name.
Yes, but in TikTok, it's his handle is Justin Danger.
Okay, I will agree to disagree.
Don't quote me on that.
I follow him too, and it's Justin Danger Nutley.
Okay, whatever. Anyways, you know who I'm talking about.
I know who you're talking about.
He was on the podcast, and he brought up the question of how did it go with Hulk Hogan getting booed?
Oh, Jesus.
So, which is
why let me tell you something, brother. I'm turning heel.
I wanted to get Taker's opinion on this for a while, so I'm glad somebody finally asked. So, hopefully you can hear this.
Yes. Hogan returned.
Oh,
Here we go. Here we go.
Come on.
Welcome back to you,
that pop was something.
It was something.
It was a pop.
It was. That was an ego pop.
Lord have mercy. Wonder what you think he went back to the dress. Well, you were there.
I was there.
What happened? What happened backstage after he came back?
When I saw him, he was no selling it and pushing his beer. I didn't see him. I wasn't backstage when he came.
Did you feel like giving him a hug afterwards?
No. Here's Taker being a company man right.
Let's be honest. Taker was probably like, "Good, fuck you, good."
Taker was probably like, "You want me to? I can't. I'm not allowed to say anything, even though it's like, he kind of brought it upon himself. Just saying,
Right? Exactly.
Did you feel bad for him? No.
Well, hey man, I got feelings. I got feelings for people. Like, sometimes in life, things come back.
Well, I mean, it's funny that, we were talking about this last night, that, with all the podcasts and all the books and everything, and everybody realizes that Hogan wasn't the guy that he was portrayed to be, And I'm not asking you to put yourself in a tight spot here or anything, but I mean, he's not
from a
the
fan's
guy.
perspective. We grew up seeing Hogan as this great thing,
bigger
and then
in life Americana kind of deal, and then obviously, he gets caught on tape, saying some derogatory, racist things, and
very bad racist things.
In this day and age where all of that is such a hot button deal. Like, I don't know what you expect. Like, people are gonna, they're gonna react, and they're not gonna react in a positive way.
I expect the crowd to boo the shit out of him.
Too is, I think the fans themselves.
And you brought this up too. because everybody's like, oh, it's because he's his political standings and he was in LA.
No,
Taker has almost the same political standings and didn't get booed in LA.
You know why? Because Taker is not a piece of shit about it. Like, yes, Taker's political leanings are what they are. We'll not go into this. It's not a political show.
Yes.
But Taker's also not been caught on tape dropping the N-word. So maybe that's a thing right there.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. You get caught on tape dropping the N-word and all the black guys are like, the fuck? You know?
Yeah. Wasn't it about his daughter too? He's like, I don't want you dating him.
Dating an African American. I don't know which technical term I'm trying to use here. Brooke was dating an African American gentleman, and Hogan's like, I don't want you dating that. And it was on camera.
What Booker T said on TV by accident.
Booker T said it on TV because Booker T, first of all, is a black guy, and Booker T said it in the moment where he's like,
that's what I was saying. I was just saying that he thought he was gonna get fired. Did you know that?
Yeah, dude. You can see Sherry when he does
so
it.
He's like,
Sherry's
oh my God,
like, it's okay. Booker's like, I'm gonna get fired, and Sherry's like, it's all right. Of course, Stevie Ray just no sells, and he's like, Hulk Hogan, we gotta beat your ass.
He's like, and Booker's just like,
you
can see him cover his face. You can see him cover his face, like, I'm so fired. Fuck. Like,
but no, again, it's a different circumstance with those guys too, because even though Booker did drop it, first of all, Booker kind of allowed to drop it, where Hogan, old white guy, not so much, so maybe don't say racist shit and you won't get booed. Just saying,
and also don't be a piece of shit and you won't get booed.
Dude, it's like we've heard stories. So I've read. So have you read Hogan's autobiography? I'm just curious. He actually has an autobiography out from a few years back.
I've just heard multiple stories.
So a lot of the lies
a
lot of the lies that we talked about months ago about him, a lot of that came out of the book too. But there's like just certain things I've read and I've heard stories about, like Bret Hart will tell a story, like the whole WrestleMania 9, I think it was, if I remember correctly, where so basically it was Bret loses to Yokozuna. Hogan comes out because Hogan had, I think he had creative control of his contract, not full creative control because Vince was still in charge, but somewhat creative control. But Hogan basically somehow convinced Vince. He's like, all right, brother, so what we're going to do is Bret's going to lose. I'm going to go out and say, Yokozuna, you piece of garbage. I'll challenge you. And Yokozuna's going to be like, okay. And then I'm going to beat Yokozuna in 3 seconds to make Bret look like a chump. Then Bret's told that story. He's like, dude, I looked like I didn't know how to do anything because I lost to Yokozuna and Hogan beat him in like 30 seconds. It's like Hogan's thing was making Hogan look good. It was never making anyone else look good.
He, on multiple podcasts, he jokingly said multiple times that he was in business for himself to make the most money for himself.
He was. That's what a lot of those guys were. They wanted to make money for themselves, and I get it. But the thing is like you make money by making your opponent look good. Here's the thing. I got a good example of this. Actually, speaking of the devil, and hold that thought, Cat, please. I'm sure it's cool. Speaking going into business for yourself. I'm kidding. Shawn Michaels, Hogan with Michaels, right? They're supposed to have a 3-match rivalry. It was supposed to be Shawn. Hogan was going to win the first. Shawn was going to win the second. Hogan was going to win the third. So Hogan goes up and goes to Vince and goes, "That doesn't work for me, brother. I only want to do one."
After already agreeing with it.
After already agreeing to it, Shawn was pissed. SummerSlam, I think that was SummerSlam 06 or 07. Someone's going to quote me on that and fix that for me. Shawn's mad, and you can tell Shawn's pissed off. When Shawn's pissed off, Shawn becomes a dick. And he sells for Hogan like he's a speedball. Like he is bouncing around that ring like he's made of rubber. It looks like he's freaking like a bouncing boy from Legion of Superheroes. Just bouncing off the ropes, bouncing off. Every time Hogan hits him, he sells like 4 times back.
He claims that he didn't do that because of that reason, but I'm pretty sure that he did.
So, and it's fine. Like I get being pissed off about having to lose a match, and but it's like at the same point, Hogan easily could have been like, sure, I'll do business. We'll go and we'll make money because Hogan versus Michaels for 3 matches for over 3 paper. SummerSlam. What's next? It's Survivor Series. So SummerSlam, Survivor Series, and then you go into the Royal Rumble. Those are your 3 or 4 biggest pay-per-views of the year.
Maybe could have gotten a fourth match at WrestleMania.
At WrestleFrickin' Maybe it's like that, like, okay, this is the one to end it all. We have the big time at WrestleMania. You get Hogan coming out, the red, white, and blue. Freaking Voodoo Child's playing, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I always prefer Real American over Voodoo Child. But you know what I'm saying? You get that, and then you get, like, Michaels coming out, and you get that giant match at WrestleMania, which would have made freaking money. But no.
Yep.
Hogan's like, that doesn't work for me, brother.
So the reason why I brought up Hulk Hogan, though, is because he's getting sued, if people didn't know that.
For what now?
For negligence of his American beer.
So I was about to make a joke there. It's like, I can't remember. Family. Was it Family Guy? Yeah, Family Guy did a Willy Wonka parody episode. Sorry, I'm going on tangents tonight. It's a tangent.
Go for it. It's fine.
And it's just two of us. So Willy, they did a parody of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, but instead of finding the golden ticket in a chocolate bar, you find a golden scroll in a beer. So there's a whole thing where it's Cheech Martin playing this guy. He's like, my brother Luis drank himself to death on your crappy beer, and shoots the Willy Wonka character. It's Paul Tucky Pete like 16 times. No one actually gets hurt, but you know, so I'm like, did someone come up and be like, hey man, your crappy beer made me go blind? Like shoot Hogan 16 times. Poor Jimmy Hart. Man,
so this is the dumbest reason, but this you know, if you get your money wherever you can. So Hulk Hogan and his Real American Beer Company are being sued for negligence by a woman after she got hit in the head by a sealed can of beer last year. The woman claims she attended a promotional event for a Real American Beer at Thirsty's Cowboys, a live music bar in Ohio, and at the event, she claims that Hulk Hogan and another promoter were throwing beers cans into the audience.
Yeah, there it is.
And it hit her, basically struck her in the head. So yeah.
So it's kind of like when you go to a live event. Let's say you go to a hockey game. I'm going to use hockey. I'm a hockey fan. While you're at said hockey game, there are nets behind the goals. So if pucks go up over the goals, they don't go into the crowd. Those nets are everywhere. Baseball is another great example of this. When you go to a live baseball game, NASCAR, they're like, keep your head on a freaking swivel. You don't know if a baseball is going to come flying at you. You might have a tire in your lap at a NASCAR event. Please pay attention.
It can still happen even with that.
Yeah, if you're sitting there at like a bar and Hulk Hogan's like, brother, and chucking beer out in the middle of nowhere, maybe keep your head on a swivel because you might get a beer to the skull. I'm not saying she's at fault. I'm not saying anyone's at fault. I'm saying Hogan's at fault. But, you know.
It's Hogan's fault.
It's Hogan's
fault. But then
fault.
again, I also see her as, this is a good way to make money.